Prime Minister Dr. Joseph John Gute chairs traditional interministerial meeting with focus on improving of exports and stepping up rice and maize production in the country. MPs at the National Assembly advocate for synergy between traditional and modern medicine as the country grapples with health challenges during a plenary sitting here in Yaoundé. Health personnel in Ebolova come up with measures to reassure about their safety in hospitals, which have been deserted for fear of COVID-19. And those are top stories. Good evening. Thanks for joining us on the 7:30 News. I am Gladys Tata.
The wearing of face masks in public places will be mandatory until further notice.
Prime Minister Joseph John Gute has chaired the cabinet meeting for the month of June in Yaoundé this Thursday. The session focused on the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on Cameroon's foreign trade performance, as well as on measures to improve the production of rice and maize in the country. The evolution of the riposte against the novel coronavirus in Cameroon was also examined during the meeting, as Star Building correspondent Christian Che Atam tells us in the following report.
A studious atmosphere at the auditorium of the Prime Minister's office this Thursday as members of government converged for the June session of the cabinet meeting. Discussions focused on three main topics: the situation of Cameroon's foreign trade within the context of the coronavirus pandemic, the improvement of rice and maize cultivation in the country, as well as the medical follow-up of COVID-19 cases in Cameroon. Speaking on the impact of the coronavirus on foreign trade, the Minister of Trade revealed that the overall volume of trade in the country fell by 16% during the first half of 2020, with exports reducing by 14% and imports going down by 16%. He said the crisis could be turned into a launchpad for the national economy if certain conditions are respected.
The acceleration of industrialization master plan with the objective to process more our local products, to consume what we produce and to produce what we consume. We import foods like rice, wheat, we import fish. We can implement special plans on those matters to be able to produce locally.
The Minister of Agriculture, for his part, revealed that national rice production at 140 tons is far below the demand, which is close to 577 tons. He announced measures to boost production in the country.
We are trying to put in place a program with the MINPAT in order to support those companies. And besides this action, the MINPAT will try to accelerate the supply of large irrigated areas to improve the production of rice. Maize is increasing very well, so we need just to supply improved seed for the small farmers, to subsidize fertilizer.
With 12,592 positive cases of COVID-19 and 10,100 recoveries, the Minister of Public Health said the third operational phase against the pandemic has been engaged in Cameroon.
Here we have to emphasize on two main actions. The first one is how are we going to stop the spread of this pandemic. The second one is how are we going to stop death in this all reports we are making in COVID.
Prime Minister Joseph John Gute has given instructions for the promotion of Cameroonian products with high export potential, especially in regional and sub-regional markets, the optimization of agro-industries in the country, and the rehabilitation of technical facilities in health districts in Cameroon.
Members of the National Assembly have joined researchers and traditional medicine practitioners to seek ways to valorize African medicine as the country faces serious health challenges. This was in the course of a special plenary sitting presided over by House Speaker Honorable Kavayege Jibril. They called for training on phytotherapy and the financing of research works to give value to local medications. Esther Kima has the details.
At a time when Cameroon battles with the contagious coronavirus, it is vital to foster complementarity between conventional and traditional medicine. A recommendation made by House Speaker Honorable Kavayege Jibril during the exchange where the participants agreed to valorize Cameroon's rich biodiversity, a goal which can be attained, according to Archbishop Samuel Kleder, through the introduction of phytotherapy in the syllabus of institutions of higher learning.
Cameroon imports about 95 to 90% of drugs that we use locally. So that makes us spend more money and make people even poorer. Between 2015 and I think 2019, Cameroon imported drugs worth 372 billion francs CFA. If we were to improve our traditional medicine, we could reduce those importations.
Rising above condescendence and marginalization of traditional and African medicine is mandatory.
African medicine is made up of 5 components: spiritual, traditional, ancestral, and natural. Medicines concern a small part of African medicine. The majority of healing is not done with medications. A committee should be put in place which will decide to study and see how they can develop African medicine.
Beyond modernization and codification, a legal instrument to regulate the sector is imperative.
One of the most difficult problems that traditional practitioners are facing is that of creating a law to regulate our system. We are waiting today to see if the law on traditional medicine can really come up.
It is hoped that African medicine will be given the exposure it deserves, with Cameroonians having a chance to choose their treatment options, like in modern societies.
Over the years, traditional medicine has proven to be efficient in the treatment of certain pathologies. More and more people go in search of some herbs or concoctions that treat malaria, typhoid, and some sexually transmissible infections. Yoti Kaleli Songe shows us the prowess of traditional medicine in the following report.
Carefully selected trunks being chopped to serve as treatment for certain ailments.
It treats all types of stomach ache. This medicine is very efficient.
I usually take this remedy because it treats me. There are also products to treat typhoid. We boil the herbs and drink. It is very efficient.
Sometimes it could be a mixture of many tree barks and other herbs or components to get the desired result.
I grind it and mix it with other products, after which I make the patient buy a bottle of whiskey and ask that they put in it and let the whiskey ferment for 3 days, then take a shot, not much. It gives vigor.
No price is too high to get relief from a disease, according to patients. Plant medicine is in fact a solution to many pathologies.
People we receive here, they do come for viral diseases. Some of them come for reproductive problems. Some of them come for respiratory problems. Some of them will consult us because they have gastrointestinal diseases, and some will come because they have tooth problem.
There are, however, some ailments that top the consultation chart.
The ones that are more recurrent, you have viral problems. Today you have hepatitis A, B, herpes, genital herpes. For sexually transmissible diseases, they do consult us on issues like syphilis, chlamydia, gonorrhea, male and female sterility, sexual weakness manifested through poor erection, fast ejaculation, and low sperm count. Most of the children are suffering from malaria, fever. Some of them will suffer from skin diseases like njeti, rashes.
for better results and proper use of traditional medicine, the dose for each remedy is specified.
We have the dosage now. We've been trained in QS how to prepare the dose. We've taken some of our drugs to IEMPM and at ANACOM. So we give the dosage normally now. But in those days, we were doing it empirically, and it gives very right effect.
The world of plant medicine in Cameroon keeps evolving, giving patients a plethora of options to choose from.
While traditional medicine is said to have proven successful in the treatment of some ailments, the certification process remains a challenge according to those of the field. They insist that there is need to organize the sector, which they say has been invaded by charlatans, adding that it is an imperative in order to effectively partner with the state to promote health amongst the population. Details with Romeo Kenny.
In diverse forms, these concoctions have been produced from plants by traditional medical practitioners who say they treat several diseases. Many are involved in the sector these days, and this has caused tongues to wag vis-à-vis their official recognition.
First of all, we have the EMPM who do some tests on the products. We have, for example, chemical tests, toxicity tests, and the activity of the product.
Having made a difference between real herbalists and charlatans, professionals in the domain say several advantages come along.
The advantage to recognize is based on inocuity, quality, and safety. When the product is certified, the person who consumes it have the guarantee that the product will treat them.
The charlatans and the real traditional doctors must move together. It is the force of the charlatan that the renowned traditional doctor is known. If there were no charlatans in the domain, I would have been my bet of roses. But now that they are charlatans, they are causing me to sit up and work harder. The diseases which we have been curing before the outbreak of this pandemic, people have caught the virus, they have that manifestation which is related to the disease that we are curing, and who have come to us, they are all responding now fine.
At a time, some have taken the commitment to support government response plan in the struggle against the COVID-19 pandemic in the country by producing locally made medication. They are, however, calling on stakeholders to reinforce the regulation of the domain.
And as you heard in the headline, patients in the South region are reluctant to consult in health facilities for fear of being detected as coronavirus positive. Mustering the courage to do so has been a difficult decision for fear of stigmatization. The consequences that hospitals have witnessed a drop in consultations while automedication has fast become the order of the day. Pontias Notes Lawon completes the story from Ibolova.
He has been bedridden for close to 3 weeks. Richard Nji has gone through thick and thin, but the immense increase in the number of COVID-19 cases in the South region has kept him from consulting in any hospital for fear of stigmatization if found COVID-19 positive. I did not visit the hospital for fear of being stigmatized. Once they see anyone in hospital, the conclusion is that he is COVID-19 positive. Like Richard Nji, many persons with ailments in Bolova have resorted to automedication to the detriment of local health structures. This service has 27 beds, only 7 are occupied now due to the coronavirus. Patients are unwilling to come for consultation, not only here at the regional hospital, but also in all health structures. Health experts have warned about the dangers of automedication, calling for a mentality switch. They have expressed worries about the source, quality and dose of concoctions used by the concerned as cure for their various diseases. Nobody knows how the medicines are administered. Many will end up with kidney and other related problems or complications. Cultivating confidence within the population vis-à-vis consulting in hospitals remains a fierce battle, for hospital boycottophobia is another virus as deadly as COVID-19.
Following a drop in the number of patients who go to the Bolova Regional Hospital for fear of contracting COVID-19, officials of the health structure have been reassuring the population. The director of the hospital says strict measures have been taken to ensure that the health unit is safe for people who come there. Bernice Atabon tells us more.
Officials of the Ebolova Regional Hospital say, contrary to public opinion, their health structure is one of the places where the population is safe from the coronavirus. Although the hospital treats COVID-19 patients, necessary steps have been taken to make the place COVID-19 free. Hand washing stations are available at the hospital. The emergency unit is prepared to quickly detect any coronavirus suspicious cases, and other COVID-19 barrier measures are respected. Coronavirus patients are also separated from other sick people.
We have put in place two circuits of taking care of those patients. We have the normal circuit and the new circuit, who is the circuit for those patients who are suspect to have COVID-19. When a patient is suspect to have the COVID-19, we introduce him in the new circuit so that he will not be in contact with the other patients.
A center to take care of COVID-19 persons is also under construction at the hospital's premises. It will go operational in the coming weeks. A few courageous persons who still seek the services of the Ebolova Regional Hospital attest that they are well taken care of. We feel secure here. People should stop running away from the hospital. Instead of dying in the house, they should come to the hospital and get treated.
We are asking them to come because we have taken a lot of measures to prevent the contamination of those who come for other disease.
Medical practitioners are encouraging the population to show up at the hospital for quality healthcare services, for measures have been taken to ensure that they do not contract COVID-19.
We should bear in mind that negligence by a single individual can seriously harm the entire community.
An international virtual conference to discuss technological contribution in the fight against COVID-19 was organized yesterday by an UN-based organization dubbed Ocean Innovation Foundation. 4 African countries took part, including Cameroon, represented by the resident representative of the African Institute for Computer Sciences, IAI. Details with Victor Siga.
Behind the initiative is Cameroonian-born information technology engineer Jacques Bunjao, resident in the United States. The contribution of technology with an African touch to check the spread of the coronavirus was at the center of discussion with participants from the Democratic Republic of Congo, Tunisia, Gabon and Cameroon. It was the opportunity to shed light on efforts made so far in this regard.
It's very great and good initiative from our compatriot Jacques Bunjao from United States of America. We have seen that technical solution by ICT can facilitate our work every day. It's very important to train everybody in society because it's very important for us to work with ICT.
The panelists were also unanimous. Technology has a considerable role to play in improving the well-being of the population.
Cameroon artists have also joined government caravan to intensify the fight against the COVID-19 pandemic in the country. The twin brother Epe and Combe have composed a song to sensitize the public on the dangers of COVID-19 in partnership with the Douala City Council. They were at the CRTV Littoral Regional Station to present the opus titled Coronavirus Tu n'as pas de place, which will be used during the council's anti-COVID-19 campaign in the days ahead. Rosalind Fossa has more.
The twin musical artists Epe and Combe are renowned for their unique touch of the Makossa rhythms and their coordinated dance technique that has taken them almost round the globe. A globe today is struggling with a deadly pandemic that has put the institutions to work in search for a way out. AP and Com are putting in Jakarta by associating their talent to the project of the Douala City Council to reach many people as possible via an infotainment platform.
The new city mayor told us about this project, which was similar to ours. So that's why we decided to come together and fight this pandemic, which we are witnessing today.
The song Coronavirus Tu n'as pas de place, released some days ago, emphasizes on the preventive measures against the virus, giving more courage to inhabitants to face the pandemic.
We tell people to be courageous because the coronavirus has no place in the society. People should be courageous to fight this pandemic. People should also respect the preventive measures of the World Health Organization, and that's from the government.
The song will accompany the City Council's campaign against the health crisis, and the authors also promised to join the sensitization team on the field for a favorable anti-COVID-19 result in the nation's economic capital.
Attention, attention.
Right now, let's move over to the Public Health Emergency Operations Center for updates on the evaluation of coronavirus in Cameroon. Standing by is our reporter, Gilbert Ongene. Hello, Gilbert. What is new over there?
Hello, Gladys Sata. Welcome to the Public Health Emergency Operations Center this Thursday. I must say that the figures of recoveries in Cameroon henceforth compete with the figures of positive persons to the COVID-19. As you well know, we had a record 2,326 recoveries yesterday, and this is explained by experts here that there are some figures that the regions did not bring forward, which were brought forward yesterday. That's why the figures of number of persons who have recovered from the COVID-19 in Cameroon moved from over 5,000 to 10,100. And we have, of course, 12,952 positive cases. So there's that competition henceforth between the number of recoveries from the COVID-19 and, of course, the number of positive cases. The number of deaths remain 313 since the first case of the COVID-19 was diagnosed on the 6th of March this year in Cameroon. Tonight, we are looking at COVID-19 or coronavirus in children. We have as guest tonight Dr. Eric Tandy, who is a public health expert in the Ministry of Public Health. Good evening, Doc.
Yeah, good evening, Gilbert.
It's always a pleasure having you. Now, Doc, tell us, children are not affected by the coronavirus. Is that a fallacy? Is it a truth, or it's simply an illusion?
Yeah, I should say it's simply an illusion. Why? Because the pandemic touches everybody. There's no exception, as you know. And it cuts across everyone. Although in recent times we've noticed mostly people of a little bit with age and with some health complications that have been affected, but children are not excluded as far as this is concerned.
Okay, let's talk now about how it manifests itself in children. Is it different? And what is the rate of hospitalization of children as compared to adults insofar as the coronavirus is concerned?
Yeah, coming to the first part of the question, how it manifests in children, is the same, just like in adults, you know. Besides the signs and symptoms that we all know, headache, fever, and so on, we might go as far to notice some abnormalities, especially in children. Abnormality here where you might have an unusual crying of the child, an unusual sleeplessness of the child, and a child who has even stopped urinating in bed comes back again and starts urinating. So this abnormality, we have to be very keen to observe these kids or those around us that are children in order to dictate some of these issues. With regards to hospitalization, it is too early, except we get into the database to come up with analysis, because sometimes this is being associated with other illnesses like malaria and other illnesses, like I said, that might have taken the kids to the hospital. But that notwithstanding, everybody is touched, and kids are also affected because of heart results.
Thank you very much indeed, Dr. Eric Tanzi, public health expert in the Ministry of Public Health. Gladys Tata, what we retained from the press briefing of tonight, dished out to us by Dr. Alain George Etundi Mbala on behalf of the Minister of Public Health. He insisted on the fact that the disease affects mostly the elderly, those who have problems of hypertension, obesity, respiratory diseases, and of course those who are HIV positive or are cancer patients. Those are those who are most vulnerable to the coronavirus. And he sent a clarion call to these persons, this category of persons, that they should make sure that they follow up their treatment, the treatment of the disease they had before the outbreak of the coronavirus, and of course, so that they become less vulnerable to the disease. And of course, he also touched on the fact that children less than 5 are least affected by the coronavirus in Cameroon. Well, that's the situation out there, Gladys Tata. Over to you, studio.
And quite some good news there. No deaths at least since today. Board members of CRTV have reviewed the administrative, financial and technological development situation of the structure, and this was during a board meeting presided over by board chair Andre Mamafuda. Staff lady Enanga Kebi reports.
It was the second extraordinary session since the creation of the hospital center and holding within the context of the COVID-19 scare. The Maurice Antoine Brouhat Conference Hall was therefore the venue in a bid to respect physical distancing. Meeting the board members closely for serious business since its installation as board chair on the 10th of June 2020, Andre Mamafuda gave a listening ear to his collaborators as they all contributed during the frank discussions.
This is for the president of the council to have the contact knowing who is the member of this council and to know exactly the problems that CRTV has now. And he wanted to know exactly in which direction the last council put the things.
Though held in camera, the issues relating to administration, finance, training, and infrastructural development were prominent on the agenda.
This is an ambitious project of the CRTV with the last council to extend the hospital. So the hospital will be extended for the other activities like cancerology. You have to put a scan here and RMI.
Mamafuda sounded satisfied with the good work of the center, especially in the domain of procreation through the technique of in vitro fertilization and the treatment of gynecological cancers. Today, CRTV can boast of over 200 babies conceived through the in vitro technique since the inauguration in 2016 by Mrs. Chantal Biya. In this regard, the board members resolved to attribute an indefinite mandate to Professor Jean-Marie Katsia in the pursuance of his duties in research, endoscopic surgery, human reproduction, and gynecological cancers. They also approved the fruitful partnership with renowned gynecologists, experts, and scientists of the African Association and the International Association of Gynecologists, notably Professors Clément Jimenez from France, Bruno Herendel from Belgium, Nathalie Massin of France, Dr. Kwasi Kasi Josephine of Côte d'Ivoire, and Dr. Adele Chevin of the USA. Discussions on the COVID-19 measures prescribed by the government and how they are applied at CRTV also occupied center place during the deliberations.
And on this press release just coming into the studio, the chairperson of the Electoral Board, chairperson of Elections Cameroon, wishes to inform national and international opinion that a group of ill-intentioned individuals hacked into the official Facebook account of Elecam on the night of Tuesday, 23 June 2020 at 10:22 p.m. and posted false information that goes against the ethics and missions of ELECAM. And while strongly condemning this criminal act, the chairperson of the Electoral Board wishes to decline the responsibility of Elections Cameroon. And furthermore, he informs the public that measures have already been taken with the competent authorities to manage the Facebook account of On the Hand and to track down, identify and put an end to activities of the said cyber criminality on the other hand. And the chairperson of the Electoral Board reassures electors that all precautionary measures have been taken for an efficient management of the Facebook page of Elections Cameroon. And this press release has been signed Eno Abrams Egbe, chairperson of the Electoral Board. The humanitarian organization Plan International Cameroon has trained some journalists in the Northwest region on the different techniques of reporting issues related to children amidst the COVID-19 pandemic. They say children are most vulnerable in the face of conflicts and the outbreak of disease. Nobel Menkemdi Sakem reports from Bamenda.
The reporters came from both public and private media organs across the Northwest region. For 2 days, Plan International Cameroon schooled the media practitioners on its child safeguarding policy and humanitarian reporting within the context of the COVID-19 pandemic. The pandemic, according to officials of Plan International, adds to the vulnerability of children and girls in the region who have been suffering from the impact of the socio-political unrest since 2016, exposing especially the girls to different forms of abuse and neglect.
Children, especially girls, are now exposed to different forms of abuses. So it is therefore important to train reporters to be able to raise awareness and draw the concerns of parents and caregivers to understand that children are even more vulnerable at this time, and that it is important for us to consider children and give them the support that they need so that they can be able to thrive.
Media practitioners in the region are key partners in ensuring that the right information meets the affected communities, with caregivers armed on the necessary methods to protect their children from abuse and neglect in the face of the pandemic.
I've learned that just as we're reporting on others like the adults, we should also involve the children and try as much as possible to make the information to be balanced, to be fair, to be objective, and we should always learn to protect the children each time we're doing our reports.
Plan International has done a great job, and if you listen to our messages any time from today, you will not believe that it is the same media that you had 2 days before this seminar started.
In strict respect of COVID-19 preventive measures, Plan International Cameroon used key experts in the domain of child protection, health and communication to educate the journalists on the right information to pass across to the public that will safeguard children at any given time.
That was Mabel Sakem Mekemdi. And in the Far North region, efforts have been stepped up to ensure that children have birth certificates. This follows the findings of surveys which indicates that their education had been compromised due to the absence of this document. Far North correspondent Sylvester Atemking tells us more.
Many births are not declared in the Far North region. Consequently, the children don't have birth certificates, and it is certain that most of them don't complete their primary circles. To reverse this trend, the partners in development, like Plan International and United Nations Children Emergency Fund, UNICEF, have been working with the population in this regard.
We have not delivered all the birth certificate to all children, but we have targeted some of them, and we hope the process will continue.
More and more people are developing interest in declaring the birth of their children.
I'm in primary 5. At first, I did not have birth certificate. I want to thank Plan International.
Meanwhile, the National Civil Status Registration Bureau have also been involved in the training of personnel on new procedures on how to collect data and carry out statistics when dealing with registration of birth, death and marriages in the region. There are, however, no relenting efforts as they are bent on making status registration better.
Access roads to AFCON 2021 infrastructure in Douala in the littoral region are almost complete. That was the observation made by the Minister of Housing and Urban Development after an inspection tour to construction works in the economic capital. Minister Celestin Kecha-Coutez was also satisfied with development projects aimed at facilitating mobility in the city. Cynthia Saptala is in Douala, trailing the minister, and now reports.
There were over 10 road construction and rehabilitation projects that were under review in Douala by the Minister of Housing and Urban Development. From the access roads leading to the Japoma Stadium to other development projects aimed at improving mobility in the town, Minister Celestin Kecha-Coutez went through New Daido, Bonaprizo, Nyalayasa and Makepe, talking with different contractors and inhabitants of these neighborhoods.
It will help me to increase the activity I'm carrying out here, because here, as I'm informed of the school campus, it helped me to get more customers and to see the road be passing by. Even those that will be going to work, to their offices, they may pass by to do some photocopies.
With the majority of projects related to the AFCON about 100% complete and awaiting provisional acceptance, the minister was also content with the quality of work on low-cost housing.
This is the modernization of our cities. All the roads are now 100%, and many neighborhoods has new road, and people are quite so happy for the low-cost housing. I want people to do more because the demand is there.
On Friday, the minister continues her visit of construction sites in Kongsamba.
Building houses, energy and road infrastructure have been cited as some of the key domains to be taken into account in the reconstruction plan in the Northwest region. The population of Bamenda equally pleaded for attention to be paid on internally displaced persons whose needs go beyond physical attention to psychological rebuilding. Mabel Mekemdi Sakem reports from Bamenda.
This is the National Road number 6, the main entrance into the Northwest region. It ought not to be in this state. Efforts to reconstruct the Bamenda-Babaju Road have been thwarted by the socio-political crisis. The ring road and other infrastructure are suffering from the same fate.
Most of the royal people are farmers, and a lot of them lost their farms or small petty businesses which were burned and all of that. We have bridges that leads to some of the royal areas that were burned down.
Many academic establishments and health infrastructure are not operating at full capacity.
Hindu schools have been burnt. Right now, like this, all my cousins are no more going to school. So we are pleading on the government whether they can renew the schools.
Power failure is becoming the order of the day in the region, especially in Menchum division that harbors the hydroelectric dam, which, according to the mayor of Wom, can supply electricity to the Northwest and West regions. Studies on the dam have been halted since the upsurge of the socio-political crisis. Portable water pipes and communication antennas have also been destroyed in some parts of the region.
They can repair it and we start having network in
the dragging socio-political crisis has left many homeless and traumatized. Many people are in dire need of homes as well as financial and psychological assistance to rebuild their lives.
Work on stadia, hotels and other infrastructure earmarked for the 2021 Africa Cup of Nations are on course as the North Regional Capital Garoua gets set to host one of the poles of the prestigious competition. While some are complete, construction and rehabilitation works are progressing well on other structures. Wilson Mengole is a man on that beat in Garoua.
The 2,000 capacity Runde Adzeomi Sports Stadium, the main competition ground, the annex and other training facilities have been constructed and refurbished with a touch of class.
The stadium, it's already finished, functional. It was a rehabilitation of the main stadium from 15,000 seats to 20. And the training stadium, a brand new one with 1,000 seats capacity. Also, they are functional, and if you wish to play a match tonight, we are able to do it.
The 70 rooms hotel, a 4-star facility with parking lots, gyms, basketball court, and a swimming pool of Olympic standards, is complete and handed to the state, waiting to receive local and international visitors.
We hand over the hotel 1 month ago to the client, and it is functional and operational.
The road network from Beyak Junction, passing through Plateau Neighborhood and the Garwa International Airport, have equally received a facelift ahead of the Continental Bonanza.
We would like to thank you to the Cameroonian people and Cameroonian government for all the support that we receive since the first day we arrived in Cameroon. And after all this joint effort, we would like to highlight that we are here to stay in Cameroon for long, and we realize and we know the difficulties in the country concerning infrastructures, and we do believe that we can be a plus on this process.
The population of the North region hope this time around there won't be any date shifting of the competition.
Wilson Mengole's report from Garua draws the curtains on this edition of the 7:30 News. Thanks for watching, and join Romial Chisengok at 8:30 for the news in French. Until then, it's bye from all of us on the 7:30 crew. Good night.
Each of us must comply with the measures that have been taken.